So my video discussing the rumors around Black Ops 4 has gotten a decent amount of attention, a little bit more than I'm used to getting around here, and I see that a lot of people have this idea that all Call of Duty fans have no idea what they want. This game, unfortunately, is rumored to have jetpacks and multiplayer similar to Overwatch, or that was what was intended at first, at least. They have said that these changes are being reverted, but it's pretty late in development and the game only has a few months until release. I'm not sure that we're going to be seeing a beta this year because of this, but maybe they'll surprise us. I know what I said in my last video about not even playing the beta, but it is unfair to just brush it off and not even try it once. So I'll play the beta, get some gameplay for some videos around that time, and base my decision further after that. Keep in mind that this video is based on the 3-year development cycle, allowing me to start from the beginning of development and would likely lead even into the time frame after release. It is also to assume that Activision will step back a little bit and really let me get to work, even if it costs them a little bit now. I think in this scenario, if they let me do my work, I could seriously make them more money down the long road of the game by just doing what fans really want. But I wanted to make this video because of that stigma that Call of Duty fans, or even gaming fans in general, don't really know what they want or cannot be satisfied by what they get. I'm not saying that there aren't Call of Duty fans that really have no idea what they want, because there are. I think that happens in pretty much every franchise realistically, but I also think that I am your average Call of Duty fan, and that a lot of what I want is pretty representative of what most Call of Duty fans want. I mean, I know a lot of people who play the game, and we really do all tend to agree on almost all of the things that I'm about to talk about. The sales figures seem to corroborate these things, and you know, I just want to give an opportunity to tell you what I would do in this situation. So if I ran Treyarch, I don't see any of these issues that are being rumored with the game happening. I wouldn't feel the need to copy games like Overwatch, you know? The core mechanics of Black Ops 4 under my leadership would be more akin to previous Black Ops titles. Boots on the ground entirely, dolphin diving with maps that take full advantage of these mechanics that fans enjoyed in the past. The game would be smooth, have a pace that isn't so fast that it is too hard to keep up with what is going on, but not so slow that the game is boring and unenjoyable. Unlimited sprint would be in the game from launch, which would allow players to get around the map at a good pace and also make sure that they're not annoyed by having to constantly keep pressing to sprint. Perks would be akin to how they always have been, and I would allow players to vote on which system of class customization that they would want more, pick 10 or pick 13 from Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3. This would allow the most voted on system reign, and would also allow the fans to have more input on the game, which would help shape the future of this connection by giving them some power in the development of the game. I would try my best to make sure that there is a campaign and battle royale, okay? Because there are a lot of fans, especially in the Black Ops series, that love campaign. So my campaign would be very interconnected into the storyline of the series, and would certainly feature the same great outline that most missions that, you know, have become a standard of the franchise have already followed. So I would make sure that there is a little bit more incentive to play. I would hide some Easter eggs in the campaign that can't be accessed in other parts of the game. I would make sure that almost all of the multiplayer maps tie directly back into the campaign, and I would also make there be some multiplayer unlockables for players who complete the campaign, you know, like new camos and calling cards. I think that making sure to reward the fans of the series would bring some joy to the players who took the time to go ahead and give the campaign the time of day, and by doing so, could perhaps bring some multiplayer-only people to enjoy the campaign for those unlockables. The Battle Royale, of course, is a major addition to the game that will certainly take some time away from development of other game aspects, so that's why I would not include it at launch. I would just, you know, give it some more time for development. Instead of releasing it on October 12th with the base game, I would hold it back until about January or whenever the first DLC comes out. Not only does that allow you more time to get the first few patches out for the multiplayer and the zombies, but it also allows the fans time to get through the game a little bit and get a grasp as to what will be offered for the rest of the game's life cycle, and it would give us more time to add more to the Battle Royale. Battle Royale would be first person and would feature 3 different large-scale maps for 64 players to enjoy at release. It would feature the looting system that many other Battle Royale games feature, you know, players parachuting into the map and then picking up weapons, ammo, armor, and other pickups. The maps, of course, would be tied to the campaign and perhaps be a little bit larger than a Battlefield map for comparison. 2 of the DLC packs, like 1 and 3, would feature a new Battle Royale map, 4 multiplayer maps, and a new Zombies map. The other 2 DLC packs would include 4 standard multiplayer maps, a new Zombies map, and 3 exclusive camos and a DLC weapon. I liked how camos in the Peacekeeper could be purchased in DLC in Black Ops 2, but instead of making the DLC weapons so overpowered like the Peacekeeper was, I would make sure that we balance all weapons in the game from the base weapons and the DLC weapons in the drops and DLC packs. This allows people who buy the DLC packs to get more from their purchase and also guarantees these things to players, since you can't really do that with the current supply drop system. In fact, I wouldn't even entirely remove supply drops from our Call of Duty, but I would surely alter the system. A system that I would implement would be a combination of old ideas with new. Instead of making players earn credits to be spent on supply drops, the only credits would be ones akin to armory credits that allow you to buy calling cards, emblems, camos, and even DLC weapons that you want. Speaking on that, I would not even put weapons into the supply drops. All weapons that would be added into the game would be purchasable via armory credits or the DLC packs that they are placed into. The weapons and DLC packs would also be available to purchase via the armory credits, which would allow players to either pay and get them early, but also have other incentives, but it could also just be earned through gameplay. Regardless, DLC weapons should not be overpowered, and they definitely should be as balanced as possible, and instead of basically forcing people to put their luck into play or spend a boatload on supply drops to get weapons and camos, just allow them the option to spend their money on these drops and make the duplicates less common. Also, increase the value of duplicates to allow players who get them more often to spend credits on things that they actually want. That way they can actually get the things that they want for other collections or weapons somewhat easily. Things in the game that are DLC should not be unobtainable to those who don't want to get supply drops. Allow players the option to get supply drops for playing the game. The randomness system of World War II isn't very good because you actually hardly ever get a drop if it gives one for that game. Players should get a supply drop for every 3 levels that they level up and a rare one for every 5 that they level up, on top of daily, weekly, and weapon orders like World War II gives out, and even just supply drops given to them on like holidays and things like that. So in this system, supply drops are cleared up a lot. Instead of locking weapons and other obtainables purely into the drops or making them incredibly hard to obtain without getting supply drops, you have now given players an opportunity to just get cosmetic items out of supply drops, in which they can use duplicated armory credits on items that they really want. Armory credits should also be rewarded to players after each and every game, and also should be able to be gambled on contracts. Let's say that each DLC weapon is 10,000 armory credits. I think you should get a 300 credit daily log-on allowance, 100 credits for losing a match, and 200 credits for winning a match along with orders and contracts. That way it incentivizes you to stay in matches and also gives you a fair amount to make sure you're getting things that you want. Under this system, players who log on every day for 3 days in a row, win 5 matches a day, lose 2 matches a day, and complete one 1,000 credit order a day could easily earn enough to earn about 2 weapons per week, depending on how much they actually play, and a lot more cosmetic items like camos that they actually want. This allows players to get more value out of the game and makes them more likely to play the game longer if they actually feel like they can earn the things that they want by playing and use them to actually play a good Call of Duty game. Keep in mind that that doesn't even involve the contracts and supply drops giving them things that they want and duplicates and other ways of earning armory credits that could be suggested and added by the community. Ranked play would be heavily inspired from Black Ops 2, allowing players to play in 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, or 4v4 lobbies in domination, capture the flag, hardpoint, search and destroy, and uplink in a rotation of fan favorite maps. It would be almost like a mixture of Modern Warfare 3's face-off, cage matches, and league play. Players or teams would play 10 placement matches and then would be ranked according to the same ranking system that Black Ops 2 featured, and then there would be exclusive camos, emblems, calling cards, and other character customization items that could be earned by seasons depending on where you placed. This makes sure that the competitive scene is rewarded for playing and also could have some exclusive things to earn, and also gives people a reason to play the competitive mode. World War II's spin on ranked play was horrible, and it didn't even allow for 4-player parties until just recently. This is a feature that should be in it from the get-go, and players should be allowed to play with anyone that they decide to team with regardless of rank. The maps. This is one of the most important things in Call of Duty. Games like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1 and 2, they had excellent maps. A lot of the community is pretty split on what they like, and I think that this is actually the perfect opportunity to please all people by just doing a mixture. Instead of making every map a 3-lane choke point head-glitching paradise that's the size of a city block, make a healthy mix of the small and action-packed maps and large, expansive maps that players can have more choices to make on. It allows for more diverse gameplay, it allows you to make sure that a large majority of the community gets heard, bug, and it also gives you an opportunity to give your players more enjoyable times playing the game, because not every map in the game sucks and looks horrible. Speaking of looks, actually, why does every single map always have to have all of the colors removed and look bland and ugly? Why can't we have some color, some nice aesthetic to the maps, you know? Let's make sure to make the maps look beautiful and include the accessibility that allows our return to the core mechanics that we saw in previous titles to be streamlined and nice. Game modes in the game would feature a mix between past and present. Uplink, Gridiron, whatever you want to call it, is a great addition to the game, and while it works worse for boots on the ground, I'm still finding it pretty enjoyable. That, and you know, it's a really good competitive game mode. I would try to find new game modes to create while keeping the game modes from previous titles that are fun to play. Domination would be 100 points per kill like almost all of us like, and I think that by adding in new game modes and making sure to keep them fresh and playable, it would benefit the game and the community a lot. When it comes to zombies, I don't think that a game in the franchise could do it better than Black Ops 1 and 2. The maps were just so amazing in both games, the Perca-Colas were good, and the modes were ultimately a lot more fun in these games. I would also follow in Black Ops 3's footsteps and release remastered maps from previous games. I would make DLC 5 include Buried, Mob of the Dead, 5, and Nuketown. I don't like the way that the other studios have taken the game for zombies, so I would make sure to try and keep zombies as Treyarch as possible. This version of Black Ops 4, if I could make it, would likely be the most ambitious and biggest, most fun Call of Duty title to date. Featuring 4 entire modes after the first few months of launch, features in every version that fans old and new can enjoy, a redesigned supply drop and credit system that allows players to earn everything just by playing, a DLC system that gives more players more than ever for their money, a campaign that stays true to the series, a zombies mode that will give classic fans replayability and many hours of enjoyment, and a multiplayer that could easily trample any multiplayer that we've seen since Black Ops 2, not to mention a competitive scene that would be in its best shape since Black Ops 2. Of course, this is just a wishful thinking type of video. Unfortunately, I'm not the director over at Treyarch, and I don't have much say in the game. But if you do agree with this video, make sure to drop a like and maybe even share it with Treyarch. Maybe they'll take the advice on it and change some things around for future titles. And if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe for future content and tell me what you think down below. Follow me on Twitter for thoughts and updates, join the Discord below, and until my next video guys, this is Optimus, signing out.